Welcome back to another episode of Jason's Bricks in 5, where I discuss LEGO content in videos of around 5 minutes. Today I want to talk about something that I think is kind of a big change that has just recently been implemented in LEGO packaging, at least within the US, on a certain subset of builds. It's something that I actually first noticed almost a month ago. It was on April 30th, because I took a picture. I was at a Walmart, and I saw that they had the Lego DeLorean, the Back to the Future set, and it had this big sticker on the bottom corner, and I thought it was very odd because, you know, I think Lego does a great job designing their boxes, and they try to make them look sleek and attractive, and there was this big white sticker in the corner, and I thought, that's kind of odd. I don't know why Walmart's sticking that on there. It seems to kind of make it, you know, kind of stick out a little bit. Well, fast forward to a couple days ago, I was at the Lego store, and my wife and I were looking, and I noticed the same thing. I noticed a number of sets. I noticed this one, I noticed the Bat Cave. There was probably 3 or 4 other sets that I noticed, and they all had the same thing. Only the difference was this warning label about the battery being in there was on the box itself. It wasn't a sticker, it was actually printed into the artwork. And so if you're wondering what's going on there, it has to do with a law that was passed, I believe, in 2021. It has to do with these button batteries. There's, you know, specific rules around it. I won't go into all of those. I read, you know, a little bit on it because I was trying to figure out why Lego would add these. It's a legal requirement, so they don't actually have a choice in the matter. So you may be familiar with these. This is the one we most commonly see, this smaller version. We see it in Lego sets, you know, particularly in this light brick here. And it's a great feature because we'll see, you know, a fireplace or, you know, a plaque lit up, things like that. But what has happened is a law was passed in 2021. It's called Reese's Law, and it's named after a little girl, 18-month-old, from Texas, that actually swallowed a button battery. And the family didn't realize that for a day or so. You know, she was acting a little sick. Ultimately, ended up leading to, unfortunately, the death of this poor child. And evidently there's been about 25 or 30 children in the last 10 years that had happened with. And I didn't realize these were so dangerous. And so, you know, they fought for legislation and got that in there. And so a couple of things, it did impact the way that these batteries are used in products. In the past, it's been a requirement for toys marketed to 14 and under that there be a requirement of using a tool to access the batteries. And that's why if you've ever had a light brick that's gone dead and need to change the battery, you have to use the screw. Perhaps Lego chose to do that because it works better, but it's also a legal requirement. But they're now requiring for anything that uses one of these button batteries to use a tool to access it. So if you've had like a remote control where you can just slide off the thing, that will no longer be allowed for things manufactured going forward. But the other part of the law is it requires warning labels to be placed on packaging for items that include these batteries or could possibly use these batteries. So say, for example, Lego sent the light brick but not the batteries, they still would have to put the warning label on there, is evidently what the law says, which is kind of interesting. Anyways, they have to put this warning label on there, and it's kind of a big, kind of an eyesore, honestly. You know, you've got this black box with great art, and it's got a big white triangle that's, it's not small, it's quite large. So, you know, I understand safety and, you know, not having children get harmed is important. I'm not, you know, saying the law shouldn't be there, but it was kind of jarring when I was at the store to just see all those sets. So the other thing it got me thinking about, you know, because this is something that's required in the United States, I'm assuming they're not going to try to push this into other regions. And so is this going to have an impact on the desirability of certain box arts? You know, if you get one from Europe that doesn't have that, and maybe that's more desirable, or maybe you live in Europe and the rare one is the one with the box. I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens. I can't imagine the one with that warning label will be more desirable because it kind of is ugly, in my opinion. But, you know, also, is that going to bleed over? You know, I think they try to keep the distribution of sets, you know, within the region, but, you know, I would believe that Canada and the United States get a lot of their things from the same factory. So are they going to be shipping out different boxes from say Mexico to the United States and other ones to Canada. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that happens, because I think back to during the pandemic when they had, supply chain issues, and they had shipped some European versions of sets over to the United States, because I saw some of the sets. For example, I had some Star Wars helmets that had like a white box on the box, a white sticker, I should say. And, it had the piece count and some of those things that are not included in the European sets. So, yeah, so if you're at the store and you see these stickers or, warning labels, and you're wondering why is that on there, it's not something Lego particularly chose to do. It's something that they legally had to do. So if you look at it and you say, that doesn't really look good, well, they didn't really have a choice. They had to put it on there, and it's for anything that was either imported or created in the United States and produced after, I believe, March of 2024. So if there's a particular set that has a light brick, so say, for example, this one, the Indiana Jones, Temple of the Golden Idol, the Batcave, the Back to the Future, DeLorean, if you want one and you want to, keep it sealed, and you don't want that, warning label on there, you might want to start looking for those now, because the other thing I've noticed, I looked on Lego.com, and they have not updated the art for at least the US website to reflect that warning label. So, you could order one, and if it's produced after that date, it's going to have that warning label. If it's produced before, it should, be the clean box, so to speak. So, yeah, let me know. Have you seen those out there? What do you think? Is this going to have any impact? I think a lot of us, we build, we buy the Lego, we open it, we build it. If we don't, it's like this. We just don't have somewhere to put it, and someday we're going to build it. So I don't know if it's a huge issue, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So if you've seen it, that is the reason why. So thanks for watching this episode of Jason's Bricks in 5, and we'll see you next time. Happy building!